Hey everybody, I'm live, and this is a short live stream because it's 1:46, almost 2 o'clock. I normally don't start this late, but um, this is information that I felt was vitally important, vastly important to share. I received a call uh, about something entirely different, just catching up with someone and talked to in some time who, um, after about an hour of talking, recounted a conversation they had at the Jacksonville Raiders game, which is supposedly the last game, and said to me that this person they uh, knew people working on the project who reportedly were so upset over the move from Oakland to Las Vegas, and they're construction workers from the Bay Area, okay, that they were said to have pulled bolts, deliberately removed bolts in certain areas, and they would go back and tell their inspectors. This wasn't to destroy the project. This was to slow it down. Then go back and tell the inspectors, "Oh, hey, this is missing. This needs to be straightened out." In other words, they would create a problem and then come back and say, "Hey, inspectors, we found this problem," right? That's what I was told tonight. That's a mind blower. And I have no reason to believe the person who told me this is just coming up with something because of the nature of the way we got into the conversation, um, and the fact that it came out of the blue from, we were talking about one thing and about city politics and everything, and then this person who's been a longtime Raider fan jumped in with this information, just like left field, boom, okay? And it's a story that fits certain known facts, which one of the known facts is that there's been a question about the situation with the bolts for some time. You know the stories if you followed this. Oh, the bolts are substandard, or there was the whole thing about the box in China, the bolts from being made in China, right? So all that, right? But the bottom line is bolts have been a focus of discussion over the past 8 months of the Las Vegas Stadium construction process. We can all agree on that, and not the good way. So if it has been the case, or was the case indeed, that these workers did that, I think, and I know Don Webb, the chief operating officer for the Raiders on this project, hates rumors. And maybe he knows about this and they quietly fixed it. In either case, it got fixed. Okay, it's not something that's lingering out there. But I do think it's something that needs to be, if they haven't done so before, gone over again. If they haven't looked at it from the perspective of, hey, where did these problems really come from, right? Because, but I'm going to emphasize something. They weren't trying, as I was told, they were not trying to endanger anyone. This wasn't a case of endangering workers. It wasn't a case of producing a substandard product. It was a case, I was told, of trying to slow the process down. And the person who told me this is not a regular reader of my blogs. It should be, but all right. And so, and that's not for any personal reason, just, scheduling business, busy stuff. But and we got into the conversation by my friend saying, you cannot attribute this to me. Okay. So, so there you go. And that's wild. All right. And it makes you wonder when you hear that, right? What other what the full real story is regarding the stadium project and where it really is. And I say that because the stadium project right now, if you take a look at it, has handfuls of workers, you know, working on it here and there at various times, right? And it doesn't. If you look at SoFi Stadium, the place is teeming with people during construction. Now there have been points, particularly of late, where it looked like they were ramping up with a good army of people, right? But then yesterday, far less the day before that. And I was talking about this, and I thought, and I speculated with my friend, I said, do you think that, he said, maybe it's a materials issue? I said, I don't know. In other words, maybe they don't have all the materials, they're waiting for something. Because there's significant parts of the stadium that are not finished. And of course, they haven't started really yet on putting the panels over the roof. And that's roughly a 3 to 4 months process unto itself. And the other issue there is, and the biggest concern is, will the cable net roof structure actually hold what's to go on it, right? So they have to make absolutely certain that thing is going to work. It's one thing to have that in place, but if it has the stress issues that my whistleblower workers were concerned about, you got a problem. I hope not. But there's been a lot of weirdness around this project in terms of construction. So much so that I think they really need to take a step back and do another audit as to where they are, if they're not doing that right now. And maybe that could be the reason for the slowdown. And that's only speculation on my part, but it does look like they've slowed down. Okay. It really does. So, just want to bring that to your attention. And let's keep monitoring the progress on it. But it's not, they should, I think, as much as I may have issues with the relocation, I have larger issues with anyone taking that kind of action on a project which threatens the structural integrity of the project, or could do so. Okay, I was told that these issues were, according to my friends, people, they were taken care of. But to manufacture a problem, you run the risk that the problem may not be easily solved, right? And that's not a good thing. I mean, look, for those who might have been upset about the move, it's done. As everyone asks me, right? What do you think? What do you think? Look, Las Vegas needs a large-scale event center. Okay? And it's going to get that. That was the dream of a number of people before the Raiders came along. Now it's there. And I think the Raiders should honor that. But, to mess with a project like that I think it's tearfully upsetting. And that doesn't need to happen. If someone's concerned about Oakland, you know what? Let Oakland get it. Oakland, yeah. The Raiders did not handle Oakland properly. But also, Oakland could have treated the entire affair as, you know what? Raiders are known, we need a new stadium. And in an aggressive action of actually building a state-of-the-art football and sports stadium, they may have been able to alter things, okay? All right? Hey, Derek, yeah, I know about the connecting tunnels. Yeah, boring is a very exciting project. I think what Elon Musk is doing is quite exciting, quite interesting. And to me, I equate the boring project with the Las Vegas monorail project in terms of continuing to put Las Vegas at the forefront of innovative urban planning approaches and urban transportation configurations, you know. So I can't wait to see it in action. I can't wait to see it open. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, I know about it. Absolutely. I was at CES, by the way, talking about it. When they were talking about it. So yeah. Oh yeah. You betcha. Let's see if there's anything else before I sign out. I don't have any. It's 2 o'clock. But again, I wanted to get that piece of information out and share it with you because I felt I should. You know, I thought, gosh, should I mention this? And no, because then if I don't mention it, it's like I'm protecting. It's like I'm withholding something that really I think the public should know, right? And I did, and I'm also careful to remind everybody that what was explained to me was that this was done. I don't know who the workers were. Okay, I don't have the names there, but apparently it was done to slow down the project by getting the inspectors to look at the problems so that they could be fixed, so that they were fixed. But these are problems that reportedly weren't really there. The workers pulled the bolts and made them. Oh, hey, look, that's there. Hey, look, that bolt's missing. Hey, we have to fix that, right? When they pulled it. This is what I was told, all right? That's what I was told, okay? So, and, you know, it's months old, but I was told today. So there. Trying to see if you all have any other. And does it look like the stadium's behind schedule? Well, the stadium has been behind schedule for some time. I mean, look, the stadium has been behind schedule, period, okay? The stadium has been behind schedule, period. And that is not something that is new. It's actually, there's been an effort to not, to give the picture as if this thing is completely on time. But the fact of the matter is that excuse me, it's actually but the reality is that the stadium was really supposed to have been finished originally by May of this year. If you take a look at the original schedule, it was May of this year. That's the original time was supposed to have been finished. Okay. And no, Derek, that's not the cause for delay. It's not the tunnel. Well, you know what? Wait a minute. I don't know. Given what I was told today, there could very well be something in the offing like that, but let me put it this way. I don't know. I doubt it. Now, could it be something in the future? Sure. Was it budgeted as something to be done, including the stadium? No, it wasn't. As I understand it, the boring setup is simply going to connect the Las Vegas Convention Center. So if you know where the convention center is, let me put it this way. It's kind of in a shape like this. Okay, this is the new part along. This is Paradise that's under construction. Okay, this is North Convention Center, and this is South Convention Center here. This is Central. The monorail is here. So as I understand it, the mooring setup basically will come back one end to the other this way. Okay, so it's not, the stadium is all the way over here. Okay, all the way over here. So I can't see that kind of setup worthy of a delay because of the time and cost and person power it would take to do that. Okay, that would have been known. You would have heard that by now already, because you don't just make adjustments to do that. And I said, I don't know, I do know. Just from putting my urban planning and construction hat on, that's something that takes years to plan. You can't just say, okay, we'll just put it over there right now. It doesn't work like that. You have to have permits. You have to have rights of way, underground and above ground. All that takes time to get, particularly when you're talking about where the stadium is located, which is really a substantial distance away. Okay? I mean, a substantial distance away from the convention center. So that's not happening. The cause for delay really is for reasons like I was told. The cause for delay, there's a number of them. First of all, let's add them up. We've had steel that was, 3 months late coming. And first, they said, oh, there's no problem with steel delivery. Turned out there was, right? Then you had trusses that were put in the wrong way. Remember that? Okay. That was last June of last year. And then we had the issue regarding the bolts. What was reported to be bad bolts, and now what I'm told as of tonight may not so much have been bad bolts as it were bolts that, okay, maybe there were some bad bolts, but also bolts that were deliberately removed by people who didn't want the project to be fast-tracked, who were workers on the project. That's a heavy allegation, okay? I don't make that lightly, but that's what I was told. That's out there. And it came to me, and I thought, yeah, I got to report this. I don't feel Boy Scoutish for doing it. It's just one of those things that's, I think you would be, I don't think you'd be doing the project a favor if you didn't say it. And there are those of you out there who probably think I shouldn't be doing the project a favor, but I don't roll that way. Again, look, what happened to the city of Oakland with respect to the Raiders will be settled in court one way or the other. And that's where that should be. But I remind everybody right now that, look, the A's will build a stadium in Oakland. But the city of Oakland isn't doing anything to build a new sports complex separate from what the A's want to do. They're basically giving everything up, the city of Oakland, to the Fishers. And the city has lost the will and the initiative to complete big projects on its own. Whereas Las Vegas has proven, once again, it has the will and the initiative to do big projects. It doesn't always complete them. Look at the Fontainebleau. But at least it has the exciting will to do them, okay? And I will eternally and forever continue to applaud Las Vegas for that. Always been a fan. So it's in that context, so John says, still a 50-50 chance. I don't know, John. I don't know. But I mean, I'm not one to give you absolutes. I don't like that. And the reason I don't is, and I'll tell you specifically because, and please don't make it mad at me when I say this, but it is something that really concerns me. There's a gigantic anti-intellectualism in this society wherein people don't want to know the details. They just want to know they want to get to the end and pay no attention to the middle. Pay attention to the whys. Understand why things happen. Okay? Because, I mean, let's take it from the other perspective. Let's say I give you an end game point, like an end point, right? Well, the question is why. The same with football. I'll bet on a game occasionally, not in a gambling fashion, but yeah, I think X and winner, right? But the reason, I'm more interested in the reason. Or let's take the whole issue regarding the Raiders relocating. I was certain the NFL wasn't going to vote for it because I was led to believe that my god sister, the mayor of Oakland, was going to do an 11th hour turnaround and give the NFL the offer and the terms they wanted. But she didn't. And I don't mean the terms were in land, okay? She didn't do that, okay? All right? Okay? So Bob McNair, who's not Bob McNair, hey, can you not use Bob McNair? And Bob, you're, change that name. That's insulting. Okay? And also, I want you to go back and I want you to listen to what I said specifically. So what I'm going to do, all right, is this. First of all, I'm going to hide you on the channel, because I don't like you using Bob's name, because I know Bob. I know the late Mr. McNair. I know the president of the Texans. He's a friend of mine personally. I have his personal direct number. I don't appreciate you coming to my channel and using Bob McNair's name. So I have removed your visibility, okay? Bob McNair was the owner of the Houston Texans. Don't do that. That's not funny. And I will never allow you, thank you, I will never allow you to appear again on my channel using that name. I don't care if it's Bob McNair or Robert McNair. In either case, disallowed. Now, you didn't listen to what I said. I didn't know. I just found all this out tonight. Okay? I was told that tonight. That these workers allegedly took this action of removing bolts to slow it down, all right? So you need to open your ears and listen. There's a reason why I speak this way. It's very careful. What I said was that it would seem to fit what we have known about, which are these stories about, bad bolts and defective ones. What I was told in this instance was that these workers, allegedly, had gone through and removed certain bolts and would go to the inspectors and go say, hey, there's a problem here. We need to fix it in an effort to slow down the project. Controversial? Of course it is. Shocking? Of course it is. Hurtful? Of course it is. Ridiculous? Absolutely. And I don't mean ridiculous like that it didn't happen way. It's one of those where there's smoke, there's fire things, right? But the good news in all of this is those problems got fixed. The sad news is those problems didn't need to occur. All right? Okay? So that's what has to be emphasized here. But no, you're writing that I knew this before. No, that's wrong. And that's, if you knew that you were putting out something that was fake news in order to twist my words, then I really don't want you on my channel. And I have done the smart move of removing you because you are not a good person for doing that. I feel it is my duty to report what I was told. I am a fan of the project. I am not a fan of the process that led to the project, but as a person who went to undergraduate school, took 7 courses of drafting, courses of architecture, actually in high school, in Skyline High School, drew to scale and to detail a stadium that, if it were built, would have been twice the size of the Superdome. Okay, I've always been a big fan of gigantic projects and always wanted to do them. Stadium projects like the one we're talking about, or SoFi Stadium. I've always found them very fascinating. So why would I go against it? Want it for Oakland, of course, but Oakland has to want to build it itself, and the current leadership is not of the psychological makeup to make that happen. And I'm just simply putting that kindly. Las Vegas, on the other hand, is. So there. All right. So, I'm not betting about this. I hope they get this done. You know, I'm kind of tired of this stuff. You know what? We've been there. We went through this. Let them get it done. Get it done. Let's get on with it. I'm not in favor of, like, for example, if I come up with an idea or a play design in flag football, I don't like somebody changing the rules because, you know, I came up with something that was better than them. I hate that. Don't change the rules. Don't do that. The Raiders, if we're all fans, we understand the Raiders need a large-scale event. Excuse me, Las Vegas needs a large-scale event center. The Raiders need a stadium. And give Mark credit for getting that far. Do I like the way he did it? No. Did he hurt Oakland by not dealing in good faith? Yes. Okay? Yes. Okay? All right? Romero says, you really are not a fan of the process? Haven't noticed. That's funny. And so I am a fan of the process. I mean, I love this stuff. You know, the process for me is everything from the planning, the zoning, the hearings, the minutia, the changing of the guard, and what's going on with MGM and MGM's problems with unloading their properties. This is, look, I went to school to be an urban planner, you know, and I wound up starting my own media company basically so I could have an excuse to use this brain. All right, much love to you, man. So yeah, I love this stuff, man. I love it. I do. And it's in that, you know, hey, look, the A's have their own stuff going. Pay attention. This Saturday, Howard Terminal Community Plan hearing is being held. OaklandNewsNow.com, just type Howard Terminal. You can read about it. Fun stuff. And I hope we get that thing built. I'm sure we will. The only thing I don't like in the A's context is I don't like how, I'll just be honest with you, I don't like how it's like this engineered, so all the white guys are doing it. You got talented black guys that gave the president of the A's the idea for the type of financing he's pursuing, and yet he won't turn around and say, it was Zinni that made me do it, because I didn't make him do it, but I planted the seed in his head, and I gave him the spreadsheet, and I gave him the process, I gave him reports he didn't have, and I didn't ask for any money, okay? Yeah. But will I get any consideration? No, because of this racist thing that says, well, you know, you can give us the idea, but we have to make ourselves look good. Whatever. All right. It's 2:14 in the East, where I'm at. Good night, and live long and prosper in your world. See ya.